Sean Diddy Combs appeared in federal court today. It was the music mogul's first appearance before a new judge who will...
Sean P. Diddy Combs.
Downfall of the famous and powerful hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
He is already complaining. Please let me out on bail. I promise no female visitors. My goodness.
That a judge denied the second request for his bail yesterday. Let's first start there and give people kind of the back.
Johan Diddy appeared in federal court today for the first time before a new judge amid his legal troubles. His second bail request, promising no female visitors, was denied. Rumors suggest he was involved in a serious altercation in custody, taking a heavy blow and pleading for forgiveness. A leaked video has surfaced, drawing significant attention and threatening major consequences for Diddy's career and reputation. The fallout could be huge. Stay tuned for more details.
Denied the second request for his bail yesterday. Let's first start there and give people kind of the backstory as to why did that happen.
The process in New York is exactly the same as in North Carolina. Two parts. Is the person the likelihood to appear? Are they a flight risk? And do they have a likelihood to commit some crime, specifically a violent crime? And then the third portion that the judge touched on in this case is, has that person in the past done some type of witness tampering? Have they attempted to try to, influence witnesses not to come forward? That's what the prosecutors argued in this case, and then the judge totally agreed that he had a history of attempting to make individuals that were participating with the government to not participate anymore. The judge felt that there were reasons. The judge actually said there are no conditions for release that would allow this case to continue to move forward with you out in public.
Back to putting Diddy on suicide watch. I mean, I learned from you today, just from talking in the newsroom, it's really not as straightforward as you might think. As the former chief magistrate, you made decisions like this. So what exactly does that process look like?
In the process, when we would set conditions for release in Mecklenburg County, for instance, all of the 30-plus magistrates, determining if a person could go or leave, typically was you're setting conditions either from secure bond, unsecured, or a written promise to appear. However, if that person at some point decided to say, you know what, in the process of them talking to you or finding out what would happen, that they wanted to kill themselves, then you were required to notify someone immediately, look, this person has made suicidal ideations or thoughts, and now we're not safe with allowing them to leave. They're going to be held here. If they made that statement during the process of intake, for instance, the sheriff's department would decide to keep them there and wait and determine, okay, now we'll put them under evaluation because they're not safe to leave and or they may harm themselves or others. So that process is definitely not straightforward, but there are red flags to go up instantly because nobody wants to be sued by this situation.
Well, do you think anyone makes those statements on purpose? Have you ever dealt with a situation where they intentionally do that? Maybe they don't want to be with the other inmates?
I've seen that happen in the past, but I can tell you if a person makes that determination, when you are on suicide watch, first of all, they're taking your shoestrings. And this is because you're in this before you get admitted. So this is pre-admission, pre-classification. You're still in your regular clothes. You haven't switched into a jumpsuit. And so you still have your regular shoes. They're taking the shoestrings. They're taking anything that you can potentially harm yourself. They're taking your clothes. They're changing you into some other type of gear where you can't harm yourself. So if you were literally about to leave and you're making those types of comments, now you've just delayed yourself by maybe a few hours, if not a few days. And so that process, I've seen it happen where a person was just making kind of crazy comments. Well, you don't know if you're serious or not. And so if you're making a comment about I am intending to harm myself, I'm going to take every situation if it's serious, and then we'll determine later that it wasn't.
Now, TMZ is reporting that they spoke to Diddy's attorney, who then said that his client is not suicidal. In fact, he went on to be able to make a statement saying he's not suicidal, calling him strong, confident, and focused on his defense. So you're a defense attorney. Is that protecting your client? And the other question I have for you, if you can just address this real quick, is they put up $50 million to try and get this man out of jail, and then another $100 million on all of this. So kind of combine that and explain all this to us.
So yes, typical from what his process is, the case or to defend this case has already started because it's in the court of public opinion. And so how do I make sure that I put that fire out that seems like it's raging really fast? I make sure I make statements that he is in sane mind, that this person is there, he's clear, he's conscious, he's aware, he's not down, he's not depressed because he knows he didn't do anything. That's the statement that you're going to make. Regarding the dollar amount, the judge touched on that this was their appeal. Remember, the first judge denied it. They appealed the judge's decision to not give him conditions for release. And they said, look, we'll put up any amount you want. He has endless resources. He's not going to leave. He turned himself in. And here's the amount. We'll put $50 million up. We'll put $100,000 up to support that. But the judge, as I mentioned before, said there is no condition, no dollar amount, that no assurance that you can say that this case, the integrity of it, specifically the witnesses that will come forward to testify against you, can be safe while you're out.
Colleague Rhodes, we appreciate your insight as always, and I guess this case is just going to keep on. And do we know the date yet? We don't have
Nothing
the date
yet,
Yeah,
but I know.
Ever wonder what could make a millionaire like Diddy risk it all behind bars? Word is, it wasn't just about him, there's a twist. Diddy, in an orange jumpsuit, got into a fight over something as petty as toilet paper. But some say the real issue was his involvement in shady business. Sources claim Diddy wasn't showing his usual finesse in the fight, looking more like a fish out of water. It's like he forgot he wasn't in the VIP section anymore.
He has to do that because no company wants to do business with somebody who is being accused, have allegations against them for sexual misconduct and deviant behavior. Nobody wants to do business with that. All the shareholders, it ain't nothing that he's giving up. They like, yo, listen, give me that. They said, they did a Diddy. Take that. You understand? They're gonna take that from him. The shareholders is gonna say, yo, listen to me. We all gonna pull out. No Diddy. But we all gonna pull out our shares and everything if you don't give up what you have in the company.
Did you see that video that went viral of Diddy pacing around the airport after his houses got raided?
I seen that video. And I seen that look in his face before. I seen that look in his face. You understand? When he was with the same gang and Mike Owens, aka Mike Cox, everybody could tell it. D-Ferg did a collection for him because he didn't know how he was going to pay his rent, and he didn't know how he was going to pay his rent, child support, and his car note, because he had one of those drop-top Cabarets Volkswagens. So Mike gave $5,000. I wasn't giving him nothing. I'm just telling you right now. D was just collecting money for niggas. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, we got to make sure, because he want to kill himself. He going to kill himself. Diddy had that pace, and he had that look in his face that he know something may be wrong, or they may have something on him. Because they took things out of there. We may not have seen what they took, but they had bags and boxes of stuff that they took out of there. So he knows, he's getting a play-by-play of what's going on. And even back then, doing that City College, when he was fired from Uptown Records, he was making statements about doing this stuff. He had that same look in his face.
Yeah, he looked worried. I'm not gonna lie, for a split second, and I felt bad for a split second. But yeah.
Like everybody, I get all kind of hate mail, IGs talking about that I'm trying to take a black man down. No. I went through every step you supposed to go through when you got a problem, you got a situation, you got an issue with a man. You understand? I get in contact with him. Went mutual friends. Let's sit down and talk. What you did to Wolf's mother wasn't right, bro. You don't talk to her like that. If Wolf was alive, he'd take your head off. You understand? Try to talk to him. People, when they start getting in this power, certain positions, have certain amount of money, they don't look back. Some of them don't look back and don't think they have to come back to the people that help them get to those positions. You understand? I don't care what nobody say. You understand? If somebody helps you and use their ability and their talents to help you get in position and get to certain places and do certain things, you come back. And you make sure things is all right. You don't disrespect people's mothers. You don't disrespect your friends that took their money to make sure you was all right when you was wrong, when you was messed up. You don't do that, bro. So by him doing the things that he did and taking the avenue that he took. He's suffering the consequence, and I don't feel bad for him at all. Because people was trying to talk to him. People was trying to tell him. You couldn't pull him by the coat and let him know anything. You understand? They messed up the game, brother. When he put that shit out with them, money, power, respect, it ain't never been like that. It ain't never been like that. You got your respect in the street that gave you your power, that brought you your money. Totally different thing. He let that money, power, and respect go to his head, but he had it ass back. So do I care what happened? Nah. He got enough money to buy his way out of this. So we think.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit suicide?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars, he could probably help him.
Here's the twist. 1 minute Diddy's throwing punches, the next, he's flat on the ground, staring up at his opponent. Just when it seemed he was about to take a beating, the prison chaplain steps in to break it up. Some call it divine, others wonder if Diddy has a holy connection. Either way, it saved him. But don't think it's over, this fight is just the beginning. What happens next could change everything you thought you knew about the man behind I'll Be Missing You.
I think some of Diddy's accusers. Our Michelle Fisher sat down with All Red to speak exclusively about the atmosphere surrounding the high-profile case.
It's really all about power and abuse of power.
Prominent attorney Gloria Allred, who has represented accusers of Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, and R. Kelly, speaking exclusively with Eyewitness News. She now represents an undisclosed number of Sean Diddy Combs' alleged victims, including Talia Graves.
The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health.
Tonight's 2020 special, The Secret Life of Diddy, detailing Combs' fall, as he faces individual and class action lawsuits and federal charges of racketeering conspiracy, forced sex trafficking, and prostitution. He's pleaded not guilty, his attorney saying prosecutors are seeking to criminalize sex that was consensual.
Consent is a big issue, and it is the government's burden in a criminal case to prove any charge and all charges beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a very high burden of proof.
Combs is now asking a federal judge for a trial date next April or May, and we could see ex-girlfriend Cassandra Cassie Ventura take the witness stand. This despite an undisclosed settlement reached one day after Ventura filed a lawsuit against Combs last November, accusing him of rape and abuse.
Even if there are confidential civil settlements, there's always an exception in the law. They can still testify in a court of law if they are subpoenaed to do so.
This bombshell surveillance video leaked in May, showing a 2016 incident where Combs appears to assault Ventura, her friend Tiffany Red detailing alleged verbal abuse in the 2020 special.
And as soon as he answered, so that was like my first time being like, something is wrong.
Combs remains behind bars after 2 judges denied his request for bond, citing in part dangers of obstruction and witness tampering. Allred says it's a tactic we've seen before in high-profile cases.
Sometimes there are criminal charges filed not only against the defendant, but also against the person who is his friend or supporter who does threaten a witness. And that was the case in the R. Kelly criminal case as well.
In a third attempt to get out of jail and tell his trial, Combs is again offering a $50 million bond and promising strict home detention. His attorneys writing in a brief to a federal appeal court judge, quote, sensationalism surrounding his arrest has distorted.
After the fight, Diddy left even the toughest inmates stunned. Picture him sprawled on the cold floor, his designer jumpsuit ruined, shaking like a leaf. The once confident mogul was now begging, saying, "Please, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it," over and over. Some say he even offered money for commissary, just to get the inmates off his back. From hip-hop king to pleading for peace, that's a real fall from grace.
MDC Brooklyn, and we got the report on what's happening there. Doesn't look good, guys. This one doesn't have a lot of good Yelp reviews. We're also going to talk about this manipulator-in-chief, this woman who many say, and she's been mentioned in some of these lawsuits, was one of the people really behind helping to allow this to keep going. And yes, Diddy will be appealing later this afternoon. We will be there with the updates to let you know if this new judge will let him out of jail. In the meanwhile, let's look at this place that he's in jail, this new home, this troubled Brooklyn place. Here's a picture. It's a high-rise. It is not getting good reviews. I mean, not that it should, but, you know, it should be basic human rights. And this place has faced intense scrutiny amid a spat of vicious inmates, you know, going after each other badly, complaints about dismal living conditions, including maggot-infested food, filthy cells, power outages. Apparently they go weeks without any sort of heat, which is, you know, not good, especially as the cold rears its head. These apparent conditions were brought to the spotlight during the trial of Maxwell, you know, I can't say the full thing, you know, the notorious Madame of Jeffy, when her attorney ripped the facility for the reprehensible and utterly inappropriate facilities. She complained about using the bathroom, which was an open sewer drain, rats running around, rotten maggot-infested food, freezing temperatures for roughly a week, when an electrical fire caused all the light heatings to go out in the building. Apparently violence-plagued federal lockup made headlines when it was hit with the claims that the staff allegedly covered up a knifing at one point. It holds pre-trial detainees as well as those serving short federal sentences. It holds about 1,700 inmates. Yeah, look, it's not a good place. As multiple places reports are coming in explaining more about it. Yeah, let's see who else has been here. We had R. Kelly, so he's in good homes there. R. Kelly. It's also Michael Cohen was there. Fetty Rap, Elson Mack from that trial, Ghislaine, and now he is in there as he's waiting to see what will happen next. It's interesting. We got his location. I had a picture here. I don't want to show this, but yeah, Sean John Combs. I have his registration number. He's located there. This is in like the prison database. You can go find it. And it's interesting because he's in the SHU, the SHU, which apparently, with John Witherspoon saying it's most likely for his own protection and also to keep him from like cutting deals, because you can get in there and cut other deals with prisoners in exchange for protection, extra food, commissary items, etc. Interesting insight from John there. I think it's spot on. They, you know, regardless if people want him to, you know, get shivved, he shouldn't right now. He shouldn't. Nobody should. He should be put in jail for the rest of his life. I'd much rather that outcome than have him get out quickly if he did all the things he did. Let's get to the truth of this first. But I want to talk about another part that's coming out as more people are spotlighting this woman right here. This one right here has been called his... I can't read the name. Sorry, I can't say certain keywords, but hopefully you understand why. I'm doing my best. Do my best, chat. But Sean Diddy Combs once called his Combs Enterprise Chief of Staff, Christina Moran, his right hand. Source close to the federal investigation believes she is more his manipulator-in-chief. If anybody is a gatekeeper, Christina would know everything, the source added. High-ranking supervisors were flagged in the 3-court federal indictment, charging Combs with all the things we've said. Yeah, Combs has pleaded not guilty to the charge, but remains in custody. He's now offering a $500 million bail, which was rejected. We'll see if he gets his appeal today. Karam has not been arrested or charged with any case. So does that mean she's working with the feds? Because if his right-hand man is actually sharing the secrets, well, he's even more in trouble, right? That's the done deal. Now, is she nervous if she's implicated or caught doing this as well? they might give her a plea deal or less time in order to sell out Diddy. When you're really under the gun and the pressure's on, it happens. So I can't imagine Diddy's excited right now of being behind bars, and probably part of the reason why he's promising no female visitors. Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second. But supervisors facilitated these performances, the freak-offs for the indictment, stocking the hotel rooms with items, as we talked about, and they've gotten evidence from a lot of sources, recordings, text messages, and texts from Christina Quorum, apparently. There she is again, his right-hand man, woman. Interesting, right? How do you allow that to go down? I would love to hear from her. How does she justify all this behavior? Just the power, the control? How did she get in? She was the one who was actually seeing Diddy's issues and enabling them to then get her own control? Is that what was going off here? As long as she had that seat at the top of the table, she was okay doing it? I don't know. That's what I'm just wondering. I'm not alleging anything. We will see. She is not yet charged. But with these allegations coming in, this is interesting. This is interesting. So, is that her? Yeah, okay, that's her too. I guess so. There she is. This one looks more recent. Doesn't look upset there. Trying to figure out now. So this woman could be a big key to figure out what went down, unless she wants to take it all to the grave with her. Now, she did not return requests for comment. We'll see if she comes in. But yes, she was mentioned in Little Rod's suit. She knowingly, intentionally participated, perpetrated, assisted, supported, facilitated the venture, is what he alleges. And the quorum required Combs' domestic employees, including the butler, chef, housekeepers, to carry a fanny pack with substances there, pink drug, combination of things, and he could indulge his choice at any time. So she apparently, according to these rumors, would be there ready and willing to ensure he could have any substance, people, etc., etc. So if all true, a lovely individual. She's, I'm sure, very happy right now to be caught in this web. But that's where we stand. So far from this, this mansion that he was in, now he's in the raid. He's going to be in this high-rise security complex for it could be a little while. We'll see if today he is able to get out. That'll be the big question, and we'll be there covering the updates as we get them coming in. Sadly, this is New York, so we won't get this televised. It's so frustrating. All we get is sketches. We can't even get photos. I don't understand how this is just. Free press. All these trials are public knowledge. We should be able to be in there to ensure that we're getting the facts. But he's protected right now due to it being in New York, and we will stay tuned and be here. So make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for alerts right there. Hit that all. And then when you get those alerts, smash that like. Leave a comment down below. We'll be covering this case and a lot more. We got a lot more stuff in the bank, but we're obviously leaning into the updates as they come in, and more are coming in. I think today, if he loses his appeal or wins his appeal, I think it's unlikely, based on the sources I'm talking about, that will comfort more people to come forward, right? Can he get out? Is he really behind bars? It's done. I'm seeing already some private threads and things that we may talk about later, illuminating.
Why did Diddy, the man who built an empire, end up begging? Rumors suggest his tough guy persona was just an act, and now the real Diddy is showing. His pleas didn't impress the inmates. Some laughed, others couldn't believe this was the same Diddy who once rapped about being untouchable. One even said, "I thought he was hard, turns out he's softer than a pillow." But while most mocked him, one inmate watched closely, like he'd hit the jackpot. What secrets did Diddy slip in that moment?
What they subpoenaed, but we know that prosecutors believe Combs did not act alone. He's the only one charged, but they believe as the leader of what they called a criminal enterprise. There were a network of people who worked for him, who enabled freak-offs, these orgies that women were allegedly forced to partake in after they were drugged and held against their will. So prosecutors are amassing a lot of evidence. That's all going to be part of this trial, now set for May 5th.
And of course, that reignites the question here of will we see more defendants named? But also, Aaron, we know that Combs' lawyers are accusing federal prosecutors and agents of leaking that hotel surveillance footage of Combs that prosecutors say shows him attacking his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. And Aaron, we know this was originally obtained by CNN, but what are both sides in this case arguing about that piece of video?
Well, the
today. What was his demeanor like today? And does his team at all have a chance of getting him out on bail before this trial starts in May?
Diddy was a lot more relaxed today, Kana. He looked a lot less bloated than we've seen him during prior appearances. He was in a jail-issued beige, kind of ill-fitting smock and pants. He was shackled at the ankles, no handcuffs, so he was able to wave to his mother and children who filled 2 rows of the courtroom. The defense is still asking for his release on bail, but they have an appeal pending before a federal appeals court, so there was no application today. And the defense, if they can't get him released, are going to stick with MDC in Brooklyn, this troubled federal lockup. So far, it seems to be going well, the defense says, though they say they reserve the right to try and move him.
That inmate watching Diddy closely wasn't alone. He secretly recorded Diddy in a vulnerable moment. A leaked video is now circulating online, showing Diddy in a way we've never seen before. The 1-minute clip shows him shaken, his usual swagger replaced with anxiety, his eyes darting around nervously. The real shock comes when Diddy's shaky voice says, "I'll do anything, just please don't tell anyone what you know." It's a stark contrast to the confident figure we're used to.